Let's say even if they are sure about their product's potential, they still need to see how big is that. Maybe it's a $100,000 product, or it's a $500,000 product, or it's $1 million product. So they need to make sure that they will get prepared for a campaign, for the scope of the campaign, and that's only possible if you validate that before launching the campaign.
You are watching the Creator Chronicles. Hi, I'm Artur Papikan, and this is where we break down the silent mistakes that are happening through the different stages of a crowdfunding campaign. A campaign rarely fails because of the idea. It fails because of partnership, long before the audience has ever seen the product. And to discuss this today, we had Arin with us, partnership manager, who has seen from a lot of angles how partnership and collaboration can shape either the good future of a product or take it to failure. A lot of creators realize it too late that collaboration is not going to the right way, Arin. And based on your professional experience, what is the stage or the pattern that creators, campaigners repetitively do?
Being a partnership manager, and especially as a person who gets in touch with the potential clients, creators at the company when they are looking for partners, usually the most common thing, because with some of them we end up collaborating with some, and with many of them we might not end up collaborating. But one thing that I see is the most common in all of them is not in all of them, especially in the first-time creators, is the lack of knowledge and not doing the proper research before entering the crowdfunding area. Because the times change and the ecosystem changes very fast, and I would say that every year there are new trends coming up, new strategies coming up. So it would be better for the creators to start researching about crowdfunding ecosystem and how the processes work and what partners could be there as best fit for their team and their product. So one thing that I would say that is to get in touch with potential partners in time is one of the main things that I usually notice when I get in touch with the creators. And that usually leads to one common thing again, which is preparing for the campaign and doing a proper pre-launch campaign, doing a proper validation. Usually there are three categories, I would say. I put them in the three categories. One are creators who know nothing at all about pre-launch. There are creators who know something about it, but they usually don't find value in it, so they kind of try to skip it somehow. And the third group are the ones that know about it, but they look at this validation process just as a simple lead generation process to gather emails and etc. But there is much more to that. Pre-launch activities that we can do before the campaign so that we can understand the product's potential, to validate the product. And yeah, these are the most common thing that I usually see when I start talking with the creators, especially at the first or the second meetings.
Okay, you mentioned that there are three main kinds of creators who are coming to do the crowdfunding campaign. But at the beginning, you also mentioned that they usually lack the knowledge. Is this the kind of knowledge that lacks in all of the creators in all the stages, or it differs from the knowledge stage that they have?
Well, that's a really good question. No, not all of them, because we have a lot of creators that they have previous crowdfunding experience, so they already kind of know about the know-hows of crowdfunding. But one of the things, but I see also serial creators that again don't do a proper pre-launch because they think that if, for example, their previous campaign has raised X amount, so they are going to definitely do another, let's say, raise X plus amount in their second or third campaigns. But that's not the case usually. Why? Because, well, in crowdfunding, almost all of the like products are very new to the market. We all know about the first rule of crowdfunding, that they shouldn't be in the market before launching on Kickstarter or Indiegogo. So it means that they don't have previous data, or even there are many products that are super new to the market and they don't even have similar competitors. So we don't have anything to benchmark. And that's the whole point about crowdfunding, to actually validate the market. But since, as I mentioned, the trends are changing year by year, so this pre-launch preparation becomes more and more important. Because well, having the knowledge is one thing, but getting exposure and being well prepared for the campaign is another thing. Because well, there are about 10,000 campaigns being launched every quarter on Kickstarter. So imagine that if you're not well prepared for the campaign and you just start from the very from zero. Once you launch the campaign, it's going to be very, very challenging for you to get exposure and to let's say to people to see your product, even though if it could be a really good product. But since you were not very well prepared for the campaign, so you don't get that initial momentum at the beginning of the campaign, so you actually lose the actual potential of the product during the campaign.
Yeah, the numbers are really crazy, like 10K product per quarter, and still the vast majority of them fail. This is really tough. And in terms of creators, like whenever you are saying that each product is new to the market and everything needs to be done from almost zero, what about the serial creators who have their own audience or they did previous crowdfunding campaigns? Should they be more sure about their new product whenever they are launching, whenever they are trying to do another kind of crowdfunding campaign? Like, can they start doing their lead generation almost close to the launch date, as they have community and they can kind of test on them as well?
Okay, so well, when it comes to serial creators, actually, it is interesting that these creators know more about the pre-launch value and how to do a proper pre-launch campaign. Why? Because even if they are sure about their product's potential, they still need to see how big is that. Maybe it's $100,000 product, or it's a $500,000 product, or it's $1 million product. So they need to make sure that they will get prepared for a campaign, for the scope of the campaign, and they can take the most out of that product's potential. That's only possible if you validate that before launching the campaign, so that you can get prepared for a proper, let's say, you can set up your strategies more realistically.
Okay, and what goes to first-time creators, those who are just preparing to launch their product? What is the optimal timing for them to start their partnership with third-party agencies or some other maybe people who are expert in the field, so that they manage to have the strategy as well as to understand whether they are really ready to go to market?
Well, I would put it in that way, that rather than what's the best time for creators to partner with the company, to find partners, I would say that it's best for them to start researching. I would put it in this way, that doing the research is more important. That's the right timing for the partner. Because if you start soon enough to do your research and to talk to different, let's say, crowdfunding agencies, you will find out about the know-hows and processes of the whole crowdfunding. And at the right time, you will already be ready to partner with the right agency. But yeah, if you want to put that into timing, let's say the best time for creators, if they are a first-time creator, is to get to start the collaboration at least 3 months before launching the campaigns, because there are a lot of things that come along the way. Let's say when they are preparing their pre-launch page, or they want to gather proper information, visuals, and etc. So yeah, as a first-time creator, they may hit some obstacles that they need to sort it out as fast as possible. So it would be better if they start about 3 months sooner with a partner and have proper time to do a proper pre-launch campaign.
So 3 months, and they still need to do their campaign validation. Then maybe there is a need to change. For example, a creator comes, they spend some time creating visuals, creating landing page, etc. They are doing their validation, and oops, there is something that needs to be changed. For example, in product itself. Should they go back and try to redevelop the product to have new assets, new visuals, and come and start do it again?
Well, ideally speaking, yes. Like when you're doing a validation, and that's the whole point of it, that if you get the insights that you really need to change something in the product, well, I guess you gotta change that. But well, not sometimes our needs are well aligned with the reality. There are a lot of creators who have limitations in terms of MOQs. They have time limitations with their manufacturers, especially, let's say, creators who are in US, Canada, but they have their manufacturer in China. They need to figure out what would be the fulfillment, the delivery. Sometimes the product is seasonal. So maybe if they want to change something in the product and cancel the campaign or postpone the campaign, at that point they need to postpone it to 1 whole year. So yeah, this is a tricky question, honestly, that yes, ideally speaking, they need to do that, but it's from campaign to campaign and from company to company, it can change. And it all comes down to the creators' resources. And yes, if they are a big company, they have resources, they have teams, they have capital, they can actually kind of afford that. But for first-time creators, I can understand that it might not be possible to do that.
Yeah, but the risks are way higher to launch and fail, because in that way, like, chances to lose more than you could do to wait a year is way higher. Like exactly. The opportunity cost is way higher. And what are the key components in the collaboration that everyone should take into account whether they are starting one? Is it kind of how fast someone is doing it, how fast they can onboard, or is it about like any other factors that creators are usually seeking for?
Well, it all comes to the creators' needs. Sometimes there are creators who have internal teams. They can take care of some part of the campaign, so maybe they don't need a full scope marketing, let's say, or crowdfunding agency partnering with them. So it depends on what they need actually from the partner that they are looking for. So the most important key points, I would say that first, to understand their own needs, that in what places they are lacking. If they are a first-time creator without any marketing team and they need a full support, so they need to understand that as soon as possible. Or sometimes they can take care of some part of the campaign. So it means that, for example, they need to find out that which, let's say, company is the best provider in that direction. And yes, I would say that would be the main point, that first, if they understand their own needs and in what areas they are lacking, that helps both parties to understand if they are a good fit for a collaboration or not.
By saying needs, do we here mean the goals, what they are aiming for? Because sometimes whatever creator is imagining for their own product is way different that it can actually deliver. For example, after understanding the demand, it can change. Here we can somehow try to reposition the question to the advice. What should the advice be for the creators who have strong needs for their own product, but they have not done any kind of validation previously and need to go to that stage? What's the thing that they should be ready to change?
Well, again, it's if we are talking about before launching, I mean, during the campaign, it's a whole another story. During the campaign, there is a huge sense of emergency. We have everything is live. We have a very few and very short timelines to change anything. But if the creators find about, let's say, new needs before launching the campaign by validation, and if they find out if they need to change something in the product, so well, it all comes down to their own, let's say, internal situation, that if they can actually do that or not. But when it comes to the marketing side of the campaign, so it's actually our duty to make everything clear for them. That, for example, here in this direction, you need more push, for example, or for example, your product is super PR friendly, so you need to consider PR. So when it comes to the marketing directions, that's where we come in, and we try to make sure that whatever decision that they are making is a educated decision, whether they want to implement those strategies that we recommend or not. But yeah, when it comes to their own internal needs, like changing the product or changing something in the concept, so again, there are tricky questions that actually it differs from product to product and from campaign to campaign.
But what here about the live feedback that they are doing while doing the product market validation, if they are receiving live feedback from their potential buyers who, for example, if you are running a reservation funnel and those are people who showed you the intent that they want to buy, but they are giving you feedback that if you added this button to the product that would do this, then I would be ready to pay, for example, twice. Or looking from the other side, people who did not pay you that money to reserve the product, so they are showing that they are not ready to buy your product, but they are giving you live feedback when they would buy it. This can go contrary to the needs of a creator, because here to solve a problem is actually a need from a creator side. That's why they created a product. So how should they receive this kind of feedback and adapt this to the problem that they are solving, which actually was their need?
Well, yeah, in these times, again, we need to see what the vision of the creator is, because let's be honest, if the creator didn't believe in their product and that it's going to work and there is a potential, so they wouldn't come all this way up to the launch of the campaign on Kickstarter or launching the new product. Usually the creators, let's say, how they react to this kind of information is biased. And as I mentioned, our duty as a crowdfunding expert is to make sure that they are well aligned with all of this, and they know and they get all the feedback, and it's their own decision to actually go by those feedbacks or not. Sometimes they don't, and at the end of the day, we see the campaigns overspending or I don't know, not gaining the momentum that they need to gain. But there are times that actually the creators listen to the feedbacks that they get, and they go and change something in the products, and that's why we actually, let's say, in our processes have a 1-year window of doing a pre-launch. It doesn't mean that we do the pre-launch campaign for 1 year, but we make sure that we have 1-year timeline to work with that creator, so that if that something happens, because we know that there are many new feedbacks could come in, so they will have proper time to go and change it. So my main point is that if I want to answer this question correctly as a, let's say, crowdfunding expert, I would say that we need to make sure we are here to present them all the feedback. We are to provide all the necessary tools for the creator to get those feedback, and definitely give our own insights based on our own experience of running hundreds of campaigns before, so that at the end of the day we make sure that if they make a decision is based on actual information, and the rest is
Their own decision.
yeah, it's the rest is their own decision actually, because not every time they can afford to do that.
Yeah, but in any case, the feedback that they are getting is based on real data. That's also
Definitely.
very important
Yes.
to take into consideration.
Yeah, sure. And sometimes, well, let's say there are a lot of cases that they get the feedback, but they don't implement those changes. They run the campaign and they see the results. Well, let's say they learn it in the hard way, and for the second and the third time, they actually let's say, pay attention to those
Okay.
feedbacks. Yeah.
Perfect. So, as a tradition, we have a question for you from our previous guest. So, the question is how do you build trust with your audience? But as you are a person who is not working directly, kind of you can say audience because it's too marketing term in this case. How are you building trust with your potential partners?
Well, I would say that I try to give them all before even talking about the potential collaboration, that even whether we are a good fit or not. I want to make sure that they have all the information they need about crowdfunding, because there are a lot of creators that have partial information about crowdfunding, or they didn't even do research, and or they have I don't know, hear something from here and then people who have done crowdfunding before, so maybe they have a friend or something. So they knowledge about crowdfunding most of the time is not integrated. So what I make sure first is that they know what they are looking at and how the whole process is. When they get to that point, it's the first place that they understand their needs for the second time, let's say. So that they say, oh, there is pre-launch. We have to do that. Oh, I wish I should have. I wish I could speak to you like 2 months before. I wish we couldn't postpone this production prototyping for like 3 months. At least we could do some preparation. So there are a lot of such challenges that come in. So what I make sure that is that where they stand right now, based on their campaign, based on their own plans. And secondly, they have all the information about know-hows on crowdfunding. And well, fortunately enough, we are able and capable to provide them with every kind of direction that could be possibly needed for a crowdfunding campaign. So I want to make sure that at the end of the day, even if we don't end up collaborating together, they walk away with valuable information, and they are one step forward toward their crowdfunding campaign and doing it properly. So yeah, that's
Okay, and now it's your turn to pose one question to our next guest, who you don't know is going to be.
well, my question would be that when doing a campaign, especially when it's live, so what are the signals there that make you help to understand that your current strategy is not working, and how do you adapt changes when you understand that?
Okay, it's a very hard one. So let's wish good luck to our next guest for this. So thank you very much, Arin, for the wonderful conversation. And to sum up our conversation, it's your turn to leave one main advice for the creators.
So, well, going back to the very beginning of our conversation, I would point out the very first thing that I mentioned, that a proper research maybe would be the best advice that I could give to any creator, so that they can set up their procedures in a way that everything they do is backed by data, is validated, and if their product has a potential, so that they can have a proper campaign, and if not, they wouldn't end up overspending on that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for a wonderful conversation.
Same here. Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, so if you have any kind of questions related to Arin, you can leave those in the comment section. Also, do not forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Stay tuned.